just wanted one.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to cut you from snackies.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Time is done for snacking because hi and welcome to Blank Bodies, a Vampire the Masquerade V5 tabletop and horror podcast. I'm your host Hunter, and as always, I'm joined by the.
I only wanted one worm, and I already had it, so you don't have to worry about quitting snacking. I was going to quit myself. Also, I'm John.
All right, we have one worm John over there.
And that one there is...
This is Sarah with the strongest ginger beer.
That's true.
These things do be kicking, though.
Yeah, I took a small sip and I was like, God damn.
It's great.
Yeah. But, speaking of great, it's our fucking 50th episode.
Oh my
Whoa.
god.
Not counting bonus episodes.
Because we don't count those, apparently.
Well, I didn't count the interviews, and then some of the bonus episodes ended up getting counted anyway. But we're just gonna say this is our 50th episode by my count, and that's the only one that matters because I number the episodes.
That's true. You are in charge of the editing.
I'm not going to question it. I like the number 50.
Just in general, or
It's a good number.
It's clean.
Yeah.
It's a solid. It hits the 5s and the 10s like squishy, good vibe brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good, rock to stand on. You know, there are other better numbers that are cooler rocks, but this one's a good one to stand on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did it.
Yeah. So
Congratulations, us and everyone else that's listening. You put up with us for 50 episodes.
Yeah, I did want to give a special thanks to everyone who's actually listened to the show and shared it around and supported us. It's been awesome to get where we're at already, and a double extra super special to our patrons who keep the lights on here in my guest bedroom.
Yeah. It do be guesting.
I would like to illustrate how excited Hunter is, because as he was saying that, his arms just slowly raised up into the sky like he was praising something.
Honestly, I was stretching.
No.
With
I was
arms
stretching it.
No.
wide open.
Yeah, with arms wide.
All right, DMCA. So what
no,
are we...
I'm not that good at singing.
Anyways, what are we doing for the Big 5-0?
For the Big 5-0, appropriately enough, we are talking about Vampire the Masquerade.
Whoa, hold on there,
Hold
buddy.
on. What?
Whoa.
Yeah, so we're actually talking about... this was the hardest episode I've ever researched because I went down so many rabbit holes that ended up being the focus of the episode. But I did a lot of fun reading, so that was cool, I guess. We are talking about The Masquerade. What is it? It's important enough that it's the subtitle of the game. So we figure it might be important for people to understand and to get ourselves into a place of understanding how foundational the actual masquerade is.
Well, here you have to have a lot of paper faces.
I was actually wondering how long it would take for someone to make a joke about that.
I just thought I'd get it out of the way now.
I was going to congratulate us at the end of the episode if we didn't, and
Couldn't
we
do
made it
Immediately.
minutes.
I thought I'd get it out of the way now.
Thank you.
Know?
Amazing.
Now that it's done, we can move on.
Yes.
I'm not going to move on.
So, the Masquerade is the number one rule of kindred society. So we're going to be talking about what it is, where it comes from, who enforces it, how it affects pretty much everything in the world of darkness. And it kind of sets up feelers for a bunch of new episodes, too, to follow. So I think that's fun. But before we get into it, content warning. This is a chill vibes episode. We'll be talking about general crime and horror, but nothing specifically egregious.
Oh my god.
This is actually probably one of our chillest episodes in a while.
For a while. Yep. I think we need the palate cleanser after
Snuff and Blood Libel.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Back to back, yeah. Check those episodes out though, because we worked really hard on them.
Yeah. Sources wise, V5 core, a lot of the V5 books. The Sabbat book, the Anarch book, the Camarilla book, all come in. There's stuff from all the old core books as well. And I believe I can't remember, I believe it's the Dark Ages core a little bit. But some stuff we'll get into it. You'll see. So yeah, where did the Masquerade itself start? All the way back at the beginning with Cain.
Daddy.
Yeah, it's one of his 6 traditions we talked about in the Cain episode, and in our very first episode we went over those. The other traditions were domain, progeny, accounting, hospitality, and destruction. Basically, it's always been a rule of kindred society. But what is the Masquerade itself? It is... Does anyone want to read it? It is the core rule of vampire society, but
Thou shalt not reveal thy true nature to those of the blood.
Those not of the blood.
That's what I said. Those not of the blood. Let me give that a second shot.
Watch that not be the edit that ends up in the episode.
It's not. Never mind. Let's just go.
Yeah. But basically, if you aren't a vampire, or if they aren't a vampire, they better not find out you are. That's the rule. The existence of vampires, no one's supposed to know about that if they aren't one. I'm assuming that this would include ghouls and thin bloods in the of the blood category, though I'm sure there's plenty of vampires who have argued to the opposite.
This is a major point of contention, actually.
Yeah.
Because ghouls are being of the blood, but it's like a...
Temporary.
Not so much temporary. It's a... Ghouls are seen as an extension of their regent, as like a... Well, this is your servant, so they will need to know your business and also maintain the masquerade.
Yeah, if your dog bites someone, it's still your fault.
Yup, basically. Whether or not thin bloods count as of the blood really depends on the character and the city that you're in and where in the timeline you are and because there might be some cities that are super just like, I mean, yeah, they do vampire stuff. They were embraced. Yeah, they're chill, whatever. And then there's going to be other people that are just like, no. Their blood is too weak. They're not actually of the blood. They're just actually a menace and a danger to society, and they need to be exterminated.
Yeah, so that's a double-edged sword.
If you were going real hard on it, though, like, ghouls would be against, like, not cool at all anyway, right? Because you have to, like, someone not of the blood has to know of the blood in order to become a ghoul, so you're breaking that first rule to make a ghoul.
There are some vampires who think ghouls are disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
That does exist. But like Sarah said, it is also an extension of the person who ghouled them. They are like they're like an appendage of that vampire and less a actual individual.
Yeah, it also gets into some weird hierarchical thinking where it's like, obviously you have the lord of the manor who would be like the vampire, and then they're obviously going to have servants. And if the servants are going to be actually loyal to you and maintain whatever they need to be bound to you, so ghoul.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not a great thing, but like, it's part of the game. Hooray.
But really, it's about keeping all of Vampire secret society. When I mean secret, this includes feeding. This includes power structures, disciplines and other vampire powers, vampire weaknesses. Everything that separates them from human society must be kept secret from them. Yeah, so this is basically keeping everything about vampires secret from non-vampires. Now, obviously, this is much more difficult for some clans to be in public or exist than others. I'm looking at you, Nosferatu, Gangrel, Salubri, and Tzimisce, and some Malkavians.
Whatever.
Tzimisce by choice, Malkavians by actions, the others by appearance. But
you mean having a third eye in the middle of your forehead stands out a bit?
Most places.
Yeah.
Gangrel, I think, have it the easiest. It's the old Gangrel, if you still play with those rules where they start to become animalistic as they age.
Well, it also, because of their Bane in V5, like, they'll be chilling, but they can't have the option of, like, sprouting feathers or getting scaly or, you know.
Getting the hairy palms.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Arms.
Mom warned about.
Arm sweaty, mom spaghetti.
This is also what makes using a ton of vampire powers more difficult or risky. As much as fun it is to run like goofier chronicles like that, it's probably the biggest reason that you don't throw a bus at a rival vampire in a large metropolitan area.
You mean being a Lasombra that's like warping the shadows around you might cause a problem?
Yes.
No, not if you dominate everybody that saw it.
If you have enough dots to dominate, it doesn't matter anymore. You know,
We'll get kind of true, but we'll
kind
get
of
to
true,
that.
but
We'll get to that. So one thing I noticed doing this research is that it arguably puts vampires in a place to police the known existence of all the other supernaturals as well, even if they have their own reasons to keep it quiet. And we will talk about some of those reasons why they need to do that later. But for existence, you know, well, if werewolves exist and witches exist, eventually people might come to suspect something.
conspiratorial mindsets where they're like, well, I mean...
It's lizard people.
Yeah, it's like, well, if 9/11 was an inside job, then obviously the chemtrails are a thing. The frogs are gay. Atlantis.
Yeah. Vampires.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, this kind of sets vampires up in a position to have to police all other supernaturals, which I have played in a lot of other campaigns where vampires are basically doing the same work as hunters, where they're like, oh, people found out about it, go kill it.
Yeah, something's being too hyphy in the park.
Gotta go take care of it now.
Okay. I do have one question, though, that's kind of stuck with me in the setting as weird.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of a group question. How have some of these supernaturals not been publicly proven to exist? Like, I think ghosts in modern society, I don't think it's weird to meet someone who thinks that ghosts exist. Like, I'm sure we all have a relative, or there's TV shows on, like, History Channel and Sci-Fi and shit that are just, like, real grilled ghosts caught on camera. So, like, the existence of ghosts, I think, is kind of accepted, so we can put them aside in their own category of, like, most people accept it.
It's either they, like, don't believe it, but they're like so used to like the phenomenon of like shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Bros that they're just like, if ghost media pops up, they're just not going to believe it anyways. Yeah. Or the people that are super into it are super into it, but the society at large kind of treats them like wackadoos.
Yeah.
So it's kind of whatever.
And I know with mages, their whole thing is built around belief. So there clearly are enough people who believe that what they do is possible, that they can do what they do. But that's also why the technocracy is so good, is because technically science is a math that they control.
Yeah, and with a lot of mages, there's the whole, they have their own reasonings for like, keep your bullshit within reason, because if you don't, then paradox.
Yeah.
So they kind of have their own realities, its own self-governing force, so that's not typically as much of a problem.
Yeah.
Changeling and werewolf.
Changelings kind of naturally hide themselves because you have to have that changeling soul to see the fae or the dreaming, and if you don't have that, these people just look like nutters.
Well, those two can kind of get covered by the same kind of internal human logic of just like woo-woo new age bullshit.
Yeah.
Where, you know, just, I don't know how many people have been at parties or gone on dates where somebody is like, I'm an otherkin, and you're just kind of like, okay, like, where's this going? Like,
or the UK has a big, especially in the UK, here we call it New Age, but in the UK they have a big resurgence of quote-unquote paganism, which is mostly like 60s or 70s ideas of folk beliefs reawoken, which I'm not saying is good or bad, but they do falls into a lot of, oh, people believe that.
Yeah, I did watch some of the big Beltane celebrations they were doing in Edinburgh, which is cool because it's a bunch of pagans hanging out, banging drums and setting shit on fire, which is, you know, good time. I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I suppose turning into a 9-foot-tall wolfman would be a problem, but, you know, how is that really any different than the problems that vampires have to deal with hiding, like, vicissitude forms or some of the bullshit that the Tremere can do with magic?
We'll get more into it when Werewolf comes out, and some of these others. But for me, I think it's like, you know, we all know, or it's assumed that there's vampires high enough in society that they can be like, don't show that footage of the vampire on TV. Let's delete that from the security cams. And I assume those same people might see a werewolf freak out and be like, we'll delete that. It was a crackhead.
Just like, cut it out. Save me the file. This is blackmail material now.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that in my back pocket.
But I do think it positions, this is something I kind of came across that I thought was interesting, is it does kind of position vampires as a global censor for between humans and the rest of the supernatural societies, where vampires specifically have a reason to try and hide everything.
Yeah, there's internally a lot of discussion with vampire characters of having to be like the shepherds of humanity. So part of that involves the, oh, fuck, if we let them know about this, oh, God, that's just going to destroy everything if we let them know about what's happening. Fuck, okay, we gotta cover the footage now. Great.
Yeah. So I think that leads perfectly into my next section, though, which is who enforces the masquerade? I think the big one, of course, is the Elders, the Cainites, the Camarilla itself. All kind of one big group. But Masquerade breaches are just about the quickest way for a prince to order a kindred's destruction through any means necessary, whether it be a blood hunt, kill him on sight. And because they set those rules of Cain we talked about in place, almost every Camarilla city, even if they do other things differently, a Masquerade breach is still a Masquerade breach.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my brain around your wording, because like the Masquerade and the Six Traditions were more formally set during the Convention of Thorns in like the late 1400s, early 1500s. I don't remember the exact date now.
1426, I think I read.
I thought it was like 1490 something.
Either way, what I'm saying is, so these are originally laid out by Cain.
Yeah.
But then the Camarilla itself took those rules, which the most vampire society had already kind of lived by.
Yeah.
And they formalized them.
Yeah.
But even before that, like, vampires weren't publicly known in the medieval era. They were still maintaining a version of the Masquerade. Yeah. Even if it went by different names.
I mean, you did have cities like Carthage where they're like, no, we can just integrate. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And that didn't go well for them.
Yeah, every city that did that pretty much got nuked.
Yeah, by other kindred.
Yes.
Hooray. Yeah, and I'm aware that there's philosophies within the Sabbat, because you mentioned Cainites, where they're just like, well, I mean, we are clearly better than the humans, so like, why should we bother hiding
we'll
ourselves?
We'll get to the Sabbat. I have a whole section about them.
Okay, cool.
But as far as Camarilla cities, it's pretty much self-patrolled by the prince and by everyone in the city. If you see another person creating a masquerade breach and you're just standing there, the prince could see it and be like, well, you were there and you didn't do anything. Punish you too, very easily. So it's one of the only rules that you're actively encouraged to stop at any cost. If you see someone else doing it, if you know someone else is doing it, and rat them out or just capture them, or why'd you kill them? Oh, he was breaching the masquerade. A lot of princes that say, smart, good work.
Yeah.
You get a cookie today.
Some litigious ones might be like, well, you should have brought that to the court first, but I get it. Depends on how hard mode you want to set the prince for your city.
Yes. Here's the big one that enforces it, though. The Inquisition. Directly and indirectly.
Yes.
We will end up doing an Inquisition. It's been on my list for a long time. It's very complicated. It'll probably have to be a series.
Yeah, there's a lot of, especially with the Second Inquisition book, there's a lot of different factions with different goals and tactics and histories. And
we talked about it a little bit when we talked about that episode, but what was considered the Inquisition in Old World of Darkness is only a fraction of what this is the Second Inquisition. The Second Inquisition kind of adopted a ton of groups, not just from Vampire, but other World of Darkness game lines, and combined them all into one unified force, or at least semi-unified force.
Yeah.
Things like, what was the one from Mage again? The, who collect...
Arcanium?
Yeah, the Arcanum. Those were never really vampire hunters until recently, it seems, as with their inclusion in the Second Inquisition. So that's going to be very complicated. But what we need to know now here is largely having a religious and governmental force that is after you for merely existing is a really damn good reason to stay hidden.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, we'll get into it, but it's one of the things that lines up to the formation of the Camarilla and everything that came after it. It's considered one of the bloodiest times in history, the First Inquisition, for supernaturals, not just vampires, werewolves, and particularly mages, particularly the more pagan-y mages like the Verbena. It lines up in real life with real life purges of like paganism across Europe.
And other religious groups, like Jews and Muslims and
yeah, go back to the Blood Libel episode for more on that.
Yeah.
But so that's the big reason I think even the Camarilla strictly enforces the Masquerade is, well, if you fuck up and the Inquisition finds out, this whole city's dead.
Yeah.
Because every time you fuck up, they look a little bit closer at all of us.
Yeah, and I've spent a lot of time building up my business, and I'm not going to have this idiot fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. I think the other group is the Anarchs. And Anarchs are interesting because the Anarchs are not a one big consensus on anything. They, much like what we call leftism in the United States, it's a lot of different beliefs all under one big roof. There are anarchs who believe that humans should know about vampires and that we should coexist in a peaceful way, that vampires should rule the world, but they should use their strength to rule fairly. Pretty much the anarchs are everyone who's like, I don't like the Camarilla, but the Sabbat, so we're just chilling here. Pretty much every other belief can fall into the anarchs. So they are interesting. But the one thing that they did agree to with the Camarilla is we will enforce the Masquerade too, by and large.
I'm not an arc.
Almost every single anarch city or province or whatever is also going to enforce the Masquerade, even if they don't give a shit about domain or like progeny rights. They are going to deal with the Masquerade quickly for multiple reasons.
Snitches get stitches.
Yes. They also don't have the number to defend themselves from, say, the Inquisition if they were out and proud vamps. So, whereas the Camarilla can hole up in their ivory towers and watch the peasants burn, the peasants themselves of the anarchs can't, the Inquisition can nuke a downtown bar and be like, oh, yeah, it was a gang fight.
Just, gestures vaguely at things like what's going on in, like, Cop City down in Atlanta, where it's like, yeah, they clearly killed a guy, and they're just like, no, he shot at us. And it's like, that literally didn't happen, but okay. Not okay. It's actually very bad.
No. The other, I think, reason that they're going to enforce the Masquerade, even if they don't want to, it's because they often can't even fully defend themselves from the Camarilla, who are generally looking for excuses to stamp out the local anarchs.
Yeah, because that was a big part of the schism in 2008 in the meta plot is ShrekNet falling caused a lot of people to get found out by the Inquisition and killed, and then people were arguing about how to best maintain the Masquerade in light of the digital era.
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode that also might have to be a two-parter on ShrekNet.
Yeah.
I did a lot of research into that, but it's so tied to the V5 meta plot, it's really hard to summarize.
We will have a ShrekNet episode. We'll figure out a way to have a slight modem sound running during the entire episode. Just... You remember when you had to log onto the internet by killing a robot every time?
You ever call a friend and be like, oh, I can't talk to him right now. They're surfing the web.
Just somebody else was looking up things, and you're just like, I gotta call some... fuck. You just pick it up, and it's just the screeching of servos. Yeah. Good times.
Beautiful.
But, yeah, so I really think the dynamics between how these two sects deal with the Masquerade is absolutely fucking interesting.
Yeah, I think the anarchs are less likely to be, you fucked up, you die now. If I were to run an anarch city, it'd be more likely, you fucked up, go clean it up now.
Mm-hmm.
More putting the job on oh, you fucked up, you got to clean up your own mess now. Break into that news station and steal the footage kind of adventure, and less of there's a blood hunt on you.
I could also see it being like, this is your first offense, we're going to kick you into torpor, and then we're going to revive you. That's your first warning, kind of thing. Just like...
Yeah, just you get a little boot party for fucking up. And
they just kick the shit out of you until you're in torpor.
I could see a whole game arc literally just being the plot of Reservoir Dogs. Except, somebody the anarchs were trying to do a robbery because they need funds to do an action, or they're doing a sting operation against Camry, and somebody fucked up and used a power and it got caught on camera, and they're all just in a warehouse screaming at each other about who fucked up and who's gonna fix it, and da-da-da-da. That could be fun, actually. That would be actually really fun.
It could also be really fun to start a campaign where you're in an anarch city and one of your coterie fucks up, and the anarch council, or however that area's runs, we've decided to kick you out of town. You can't be here anymore. You're not allowed in LA. Go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have one night. If we see you here again, you're dead.
Yeah, you could have some that are really, really strict about it because they just don't have the numbers to maintain the Masquerade in more subtle ways like the Camarilla does. They have to be really hardline and be like, dude, you literally cannot fuck up. But I've also played anarch characters where they're looking at the writing on the wall going, just based on the way everything is so integrated with cameras and the internet, they're like, the Masquerade will not last. It just fucking can't. So we need to start prepping now for the fact that, like, mortals are gonna find out. Certain mortal groups are gonna do X, Y, and Z because, you know, hunting down vampires is basically the new war on terror. Yay, Raytheon knife missiles. So if we can get ahead of that and actually establish a society where we're more humane and can integrate...
They're shooting for the True Blood ending.
Yeah, just kind of like hey, we need to start planning for vampire civil rights now while we have time, as opposed to when we're already in the camps.
Yeah.
So, it runs that whole gambit. And I'm assuming there's probably anarchs that are like weird crypto bros. They're like, nah, see, I can hide us in the blockchain.
Yeah, so there are definitely, now that with the beckoning and the Camarilla kind of pulling up its roots and kind of solidifying, I think there is a little more balance between some anarch cities and Camarilla cities. The elders that were really their big claim to power have left, and a lot of Camarilla cities are scrambling to fix things.
Yeah.
So there is, even though the anarchs in a lot are supposedly like a death on sight, I think there's a lot of cities that don't necessarily have the ability to do that either.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's, you know, there's a lot of room for really cool plot stuff here. But it's important to be like, guys, we all have to agree to not get got.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, even if you have cities where there's turf wars between the anarchs and the Camarilla, once there's a Masquerade breach that affects both sides, they're going to have to, like, work together to be like, okay, we got to fix this problem. And then we can go back to killing each other.
If you like super political games, imagine an anarch who's, like, pretty important gets caught on camera doing something, and the Camarilla is like, he needs to die.
Not only him, his entire sect, they're all mad and going to get us killed. So,
And
for the safety of the city.
And the anarch's whole ass being like, no, he's too important, he's staying. And, like, just the political ramifications and bitchiness that would occur in Elysium's henceforth from there.
I mean, I'm here for that.
I feel like that could be a really interesting LARP setup.
Where it's just like, the trial of Baron Dennis. I don't know.
Yeah, quite literally the Baron fucks up enough to, like, breach the Masquerade.
Yeah.
But, like, the Camarilla knows, like, he's literally, like, the one we can't publicly kill by force.
I would be down for a whole just, like, courtroom session of debating back and forth on how to best handle the Masquerade breach.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that could be sick.
And now we get to the giant elephant in the room of all of this.
And by elephant, we mean it's a horrifying amalgam of people that Azamitsi has slapped together vaguely in the shape of an elephant.
Yes. So who else enforces the Masquerade? The Sabbat. Kind of. It's complicated. This is another one where we'll need a Sabbat history episode eventually. It's very fucking messy. I know our Sabbat episode was specifically to what they are up to in V5.
We did the sect episodes for the Camarilla, the Anarchs, and the Sabbat, and it was kind of 101 baby's first intro to these sects. I think, are we potentially far enough along we can start doing some deep dives?
I think so.
My God.
I've proposed a lot of episodes here. So after maybe, if I can give away the ghost a little bit, we have prepped up to Gen Con, so we can prepare for that. And then
start preparing for the fall season.
Yeah, so if you like any of these things we've suggested or want to know more, it might be a good time to poke us in the Discord and be like, I would love an episode about X.
For sure. But yeah, the Sabbat
like the
is...
country goth punk band from LA.
Country
X.
Yeah.
I don't think they're our theme.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we should do an episode on them.
Right on the deadline.
There are literally... This joke is literally for 5 of our listeners.
Yep.
And us in this room specifically.
Yes.
Hey, everybody, check out the band X.
They're fun.
They're all right.
They're fun. I enjoy them.
They put out more albums than they probably needed to. But
yes.
The ones that are good are good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But yeah, the Sabbat. It's... You have a bunch of murderous psychos that don't give a fuck and are actively trying to dismantle the Camarilla society, and a good way to do that is fucking with the Masquerade. But then there's also tacticians that are like, hey, so the Second Inquisition got some, like, fucking robot dogs with laser guns.
They've literally started nuking vampires.
Yeah, like, full on... What if we put a drone in the sky and we're just dropping, like, Hellfire missiles and shit? And the Sabbat, unfortunately, because they're so loud,
Yeah.
have been hit really hard.
And that is what has gotten the Sabbat to where they are now, where they are, as I put it, while the Sabbat is full of murderous, frothing at the mouth killers, they haven't been able to successfully give up the ghost that most human society doesn't know vampires exist, even after centuries of them being frothing at the mouth killers who don't really respect the masquerade except for their own safety.
Yeah, it's... Maintaining the masquerade has its tactical advantages.
Yeah. Actually, that's kind of what I have here. Because they tend to use hit and run tactics. You know, a pack of them will run in, attack a Camarilla event or something, and those who don't die run and hide again.
Mm-hmm.
So if people were to look into that and find it, they're more likely to find out about the Camarilla fuckers that they attacked than they are to find about the random kidnappies who charged a building and blew up. And they also are big fans of slow deceptions, destroying the Camarilla from within, working as undercover cells, which leads the ones that are like intelligent to be even more stealthy and therefore even more maintaining the masquerade because they're hiding from other vampires as well.
Yeah, and then those in the Sabbat that will infiltrate Anarch territories and try to recruit from there, having people that are going to go and be like, yeah, no, we want to maintain the masquerade, like going in and doing yeah, we can be reasonable. But don't you want to fuck shit up? And then, you know...
Aren't you mad?
Aren't you mad?
You mad? You want to fix it?
Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so with the recent shakeup of the Sabbat, though, the more intelligent have left for the Cam or the Anarchs. For some reason, someone saw something. But what has left are a lot of the fanatics and madmen. So what's keeping them from blowing the big secret? I think this is more one of those things that's left intentionally dark about what's actually going on with their structure and what they're up to, because they are intended more as like a big bad for the setting than a villain group. Then you're supposed to play these guys. I think you can kind of find an answer to that. But if you are running a Sabbat campaign, you know, what is keeping one of the guys who can at least, like, speak in full sentences to walk up and be like, hey, everybody, vampires exist. Prove it. They're all over New York. Come get us in New York. And then leaving.
Yeah, just walking up to some poor weather guy that's stuck in a storm and just grabbing his mic being like, hey, you guys should really check out the penthouse on 74th. All right, bye.
Yeah, I think that could be a really fucking terrifying way to start messing with people in the city, even if it's not directly happening to your players. Them just seeing that go on around them is terrifying. If you are running a city where the Inquisition and now literally the Sabbat are selling Camarilla members out to the Inquisition, is kind of oh fuck.
Yeah.
and you're the little guy on the totem pole who's just like, I just wanted like drink blood and go to goth raves.
I just wanted to fuck bitches and make stacks. This is bullshit.
I was on my grind set, and then these liberals come and ruin it for
God
me.
damn it.
Oh god, though, like a Sabbat guy who's basically doing the equivalent of like Q drops.
Yeah, but for vampires.
Yeah, and other supernaturals.
Literally, you could just like adrenochrome conspiracies, but it's vampires and they're actually doing it.
Yeah, just somebody go on to like the local public radio, like conspiracy hour at 2 a.m. and call in and just be like, oh yeah, Prince or so-and-so, whatever the name of the prince is actually a secret Rothschild, and then just leave.
Yeah.
That would be enough to start a trail of bullshit.
Yeah, the Masquerade is interesting because it is very obvious stuff like that to like, yeah, literally just people investigating you for regular ass crimes might end up bringing a Masquerade breach when they look too deeply into you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to fuck with more powerful or more rich characters who, like, they don't have any, you know, abilities that are, like, Masquerade breachy. You know, they have things like dominate and whatnot. But you have a paper trail. And you've been buying a lot of blood.
Oh, God. Yeah, it could even be something as simple as an older, more powerful kindred in the city says something fucked up at a restaurant or something, and somebody happens to catch it on a cell phone. There are whole communities of people who investigate people who do fucked up racist or sexist things in public to get them outed. That could be it. You could just have somebody from like 1850 just fuck up on their phrasing and just say the wrong thing because of old-timey racism is fucked up. and somebody catches on film, and now they're just like on TikTok with thousands of nerds with nothing better to do with their time than to dig through all of your shit.
Yeah.
To dox you.
Terrifying.
Gross.
Right.
Which, I think that leads completely into my next section, too.
Well, I actually was just thinking about it, and I think a lot of the reason that Sabbat are kind of hard to catch for the Second Inquisition, the ones that are left, is because like they're always described as like roving packs at this point. And I feel like if they're consistently on the move too, that's going to be
that helps.
Yeah.
It's very guerrilla tactics.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think there are still there has to be still some highly intelligent people in that group leading things. So even if the packs are roving and doing blast, I know you told me like your favorite Sabbat movie is what is it, 30 Days a Night, where they like show up at a town and completely destroy it. But it's a town in Alaska that literally no other humans can get to for months out of the year, basically. And so by the time people get there, they're like, oh, everyone died.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal.
And the vampires can walk through the dark, through the snow for a couple days and be fine.
Right.
Yeah, and there's still as much as we are all interconnected with the internet, there's still big chunks of the planet that you could very feasibly just walk into, decimate everything and everyone, and fuck off. Yeah. And no one would know for days.
I was actually watching a recent video. I believe it was Linus Tech Tips to credit it. But they were talking about pirate internet in different countries. And it's really interesting because they're like countries like North Korea where literally it's illegal to have like Western films. And it's a bigger crime depending on what country the film is. Like, if you get caught with an Indian film, it's like a slap on the wrist. If you get caught with, like, a Marvel movie, it's like, oh, you're going to jail for a long time kind of thing. But they actually have, like, pirate internets where people will sell hard drives and be like, here's a chunk of the internet.
Huh.
Wild.
And that's true in Cuba, where Cuba is starting to open its country to the internet and building that infrastructure out. But beforehand, when they didn't allow it for a multitude of reasons, they had people. There were some military bases, I believe, that had internet, and there were people who were able to build these basically pirate internet where they would run wires like over rooftops to different houses, and would siphon internet like out of like important like military bases and stuff like that did have internet, because it was just you could get over a phone line or anything, so they would connect these houses together with phone lines.
I love that.
And then they
hilarious.
had things like the monthly backpack, which is where like essentially someone would come back with like a backpack full of DVDs or whatever, and you could literally just buy that month's chunk of movies or media or whatever. But again, I guess what the point I'm trying to get at is that like as an American, like it's hard to imagine, because I believe internet coverage in the United States is like 90%, whereas worldwide it's like 60% of the population wise.
In the US, it's weird because we kind of had the bias of being in a urban center and dealing with a lot of that kind of stuff. If we go like 4 hours south in our own state, there are definitely pockets of just Indiana where there's barely phone lines still, just because there's not enough population to justify the major companies to put lines out that far.
Yeah.
So even within the United States, I still think there are sizable pockets of communities where if a Sabbat pack wanted to go in, just massacre everybody and then fuck off, no one would know.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's still, I would say, population-wise, like 90% of the U.S. population has access to the internet.
Yeah, even
but
if it's 90%, like...
But I would say like 70% live in like those major urban centers.
Yeah.
That's a statistic I'm guessing at, that 70%. But even if that, and then you have like the suburbs and like the people who have like satellite internet and stuff, that's still a big chunk of the population.
Yeah, like we in the U.S. have this interesting problem of it's not profitable to run mail to every address in the country. That's why we have the U.S. Postal Service. But because certain parties in our country are trying to cut the fucking USPS, there are chunks of our country that are just not going to have mail service if that were to drop. So it's like they can't get packages, they can't get bills, they can't send shit. And they're so far out that they also do not have internet. Half the time they don't have reliable phone lines. Like they're in the hollers,
right,
in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, and then you have like places like Appalachia or where they do have bigger communities, and those communities are still like pretty separate from like technology and that sort of
because
thing.
they're hard to get to, and
Yeah. Well, and I guess what I'm trying to say that though is like that's 90% of the U.S. population, whereas 60% of the world population only has access to it. There's whole countries that don't have good or much internet access. There's countries
like
where
outside
it's
of
like,
major cities. Yeah.
yeah, where there's countries where like, you know, maybe like the royals or the political class has internet and like the day-to-day civilian class doesn't. There's outside of the US, it's much easier for the Sabbat to do their thing, but that does get into my next point.
Yes.
Which is the Masquerade has gotten harder and harder as time goes. You know, modern knights, modern struggles. Which goes back to you talked about the anarchs who are like, the Masquerade will not hold. Let's prepare. I think it's clear there's like a timeline of that kind of happening. Like in medieval times, it's much easier. If observed, you know, you knock off a peasant or two and go about your day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we don't have CSI level science and video cameras everywhere. The advent of cameras, communication technology, video cameras, TV news, the internet, live streaming. It's literally getting harder and harder and harder every day. Even if you go back to like the 90s when Old World to now, 30 years later, the stuff that's happening in those books and novels in the 90s as them being cautious would be insane to try and do in modern nights.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s, in like the dark superhero era, like jumping across rooftops and stuff, like the likelihood that anyone would catch that on camera, low. You know, security cameras aren't facing the roofs, they're facing down. There might be people, you know, looking up, but they might catch a glimpse of that. Now there's just like, you assume everything's being filmed at all times.
Yeah, and even then the resolution on cameras weren't great, so you could at least like hide in the pixelation.
Yeah, go look at like old UFO videos. It's why UFOs were believable in the 90s.
Like 80s and 90s, there's a lot of like, oh my god, aliens, and it's like, just the pixels were bad.
Yeah, I hate to break it to people, but it's becoming more and more clear every day that UFOs have and always will have been a U.S. government-led ops to just cover up their experimental aircraft for the most part.
No, they have aliens. It's disclosed.
That's true. I think the funniest thing I've researched lately and found is like, if you look up, I think it was Tom from Blink-182 who became a TV aliens guy. If you look into the company he ran and all the talking heads on him, every single one was ex-CIA agents.
Yeah, no shit.
It's just really funny, just like how they're all like, yes, and the aliens come from another dimension, and then it's just like CIA intelligence, retired. It's just like, yeah.
I mean, I guess I would rather the CIA be doing that as opposed to like killing government officials in South America. So, you know, progress, I guess.
I mean, I just
questionable. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
It's my favorite bit of like American mythology, but I think you can extrapolate to like the vampire thing. Whereas, like, it was much easier, like you said, for them to hide in the pixels and be like, oh, clearly that footage just isn't very good. He didn't use a power. The camera glitched.
Right. Well, you can also even flip it and reverse it and feed the crazies and being like, look at this guy.
Yeah, the Alex Jones kind of thing where it's like, oh, I think it kind of works as a filter where it's just like, oh, you believe in that? And my opinion of you sinks. Kind of filter where it's like, oh, you believe in vampire.
Yeah.
Good job.
I could see there being vampires who specialize in the Masquerade being kind of the kind of guys that are like, okay, we're going to have a couple of fucking wackadoos. Like a couple of like the Ancient Aliens guys or Ancient Apocalypse guys. And like, we're going to give them funding and a budget to make one documentary or one docuseries. And then the mortals are going to be so busy yelling at each other about this shit that's clearly fake that when our shit shows up, it's going to have that same credibility level.
I think this gives me an idea for our next clan series when we come up with characters.
Oh.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Spin doctor.
We'll leave it kind of, yeah. I mean, Guy used to do ShrekNet, and now he's like, well, I have all this info.
Nice.
I have all these networks and connections.
Like,
I might as well use them.
I can't be on camera, but I can be on radio.
But yeah, this is kind of also just... you can get into some interesting social commentary stuff with your games about the fact that we basically live in a panopticon society.
Yeah, we absolutely do.
Hello, Michel Foucault. We are back at your bullshit again. Hooray.
Yay. Yeah, and I think another thing about it is we live in an era where I think more people are considered credible
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, again, we go back to medieval, like, Dark Ages times, where it was like, don't be observed by someone respected enough to not be declared mad or to be declared consorting with devils, to which you will be outed as a vampire. Whereas, like, a peasant sees something weird and tells someone, and then the priest is to be like, well, you need to pray about this.
You need an exorcism.
You need to cleanse your soul because the devils are after you. Whereas if the priest sees it, there is evil afoot and we will cleanse you. So
yeah,
there's a lot more, whereas like everyday person catches someone on camera, it doesn't matter if he's a prince or a pauper, you're fucked because it's on TikTok now.
Yeah, man, I miss the days of maintaining the masquerade when it was like the 1800s. You can just blame it on hysteria and just some hot lady would get jerked off by a doctor.
Hell yeah.
Those were good days. What? I'm not wrong.
Oh boy.
Just, she saw some crazy shit and is crying and won't be, like, stop complaining about it. Just give her a quick handy, it's fine.
Yeah. Whereas nowadays it's like,
Brutal.
oh yeah, don't get caught doing anything slightly inhuman by the near infinite grid of surveillance that has permeated the whole of our world.
Yeah, well, there's also just ways of maintaining it now where you could kind of almost lean into it, because we do have the, like, quote-unquote, like, professional vampire people.
Yeah.
And, like, goth has gotten to be such a... It cycles through being trendy, and we're kind of in a big goth being trendy again phase.
Yeah, I also was going to say, like, we have things like cosplay and makeup sciences have gotten, and, like, special effects makeup has gotten so sophisticated that you'll see, like, something that would have blown your mind in a movie in 1993 just walk down the street now and be like, oh, wow.
Fashion.
That's very neat.
Dang, they
Boots
did a
the
good
house
job on
down,
that.
mama.
Yeah.
Slay.
So it makes things easier for people like maybe the Gangrel or the Nosferatu, where the Nosferatu are inherently scary to look at, but if a picture of you leaks, someone can be like, oh, this must be from a horror movie.
Well, and also just, like, depending on how your mutation manifests with Nosferatu, you could just lean into it and just be like, yeah, I'm really into the body modification community. Because there's, like, what the fuck's that guy's name? Is he, like, the Black Alien Project or the Human Alien Project? I don't know if you've seen him.
I've seen, yeah.
He's got, like, full blackout tattoos on his
yeah.
face, and he's gotten... I saw a photo of him recently where he's had subdermal implants so that his forehead's more protruding out, so it has more of, like, the gray alien shape, and he's got implants on the jawline and chin, and he's got his nose hacked off. It's giving very Voldemort.
Yeah, he ate on that one.
He did. So, Or, just be one of those, I am a professional sideshow performer.
Yes.
Like the lizard guy with all the puzzle pieces tattoos.
Yeah.
Like, he's really cool.
Yeah, he was on that one episode of the X-Files.
Yeah.
About the sideshow. Yeah, I went to the Zach Baggins Haunted Museum. They have a whole section dedicated to, like, sideshow, his sideshow collection. But you go upstairs and they have, like, actual sideshow artists, like,
oh, cool.
doing shows. They had, like, a couple professional guys in there. Like, I watched a guy hang a bucket full of heavy bolts from his eyelids and swung them around, and then he did the trick where he put the power drill like through his nostrils into the back of his head.
Dude, the human blockhead acts are really impressive.
Yeah, like there are ways around it. So I think we're getting up to my final way to wrap how to view the Masquerade for your games. In that, sorry if this gets a little heavy, but it kind of sets the vibe for all of Kindred society. This being the number one rule, in my opinion, makes the only real rule, don't get caught. When it comes to every other rule that the Camarilla may impose, the real rule is don't get caught. If the number one rule is don't get caught, when they tell you not to do something on someone else's domain, it also means don't get caught doing something else on someone else's domain. Don't get caught siring another vampire without permission.
Don't get caught using powers in Elysium.
Yes. It's pretty pervasive. And this is where it gets a little heavy, though. If being yourself becomes essentially outlawed by societal law, when would you ever be honest? If you're someone who is inherently a masquerade breach, like some of the clans we talked about, I think specifically Salubri is a really, really good example. It's really hard. You can put a beanie on. But I mean, if someone sees your third eye, I think that's really, you can't just add eyes to people.
Well,
you could add...
Okay, Skipper, you can add eyes to people.
But again, that would still be a masquerade breach.
Yeah,
Zamitzi doing anything to anyone is kind of a masquerade breach. But I guess the point what I'm getting at is it does...
If you use dominate.
True. So yeah, if your pure existence is hidden from everyone around you, deception becomes how you exist in the law of the land. I think this is a really good way to explore many different themes and versions of otherness.
Happy Pride.
Yep, this is a Pride episode.
Secret Pride episode, everyone!
But
hell yeah!
It doesn't have to just be Pride, though. There are all these different vampires who have different ways that make them breaches. We did the whole blood libel. It could be just the family you happen to come from. It could be the color of the skin. It could be your religious beliefs. It could be a lot of different things. I think it's a really good way to explore otherness in a way that makes everyday existence for certain people illegal.
Yeah, and basically that is I think a good discussion to have at session 0 with players and storytellers, to just be like, how intense is maintaining the masquerade going to be for this chronicle? Because you can kind of calibrate the game to be a little superhero-ish, where it's like, I mean, you can do some shenanigans as long as you have like a basic general idea of how it's going to get covered. You can kind of hand wave some shenanigans and like, that's fine. That's the vibe of your game. Cool.
Yeah.
Some people might like getting into the minutia of exploring like how cybersecurity affects and intersects with how we're all engaging with each other. So some people might get really technically intense on X, Y, and Z and be hacking Ring cameras and all sorts of crazy shit. Just make sure everybody's aware of like how intense this is going to be for your game, because it's gonna suck when you're expecting a What We Do in the Shadows game and then you show up and it's Minority Report.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also something that you can kind of plan around your setting. Like, if you want something a little lighter, don't set your game in New York. Maybe set your game in New England. Like, the smaller, more suburban or rural you get, the less important these ideas become. There's less security cameras. There's less security guards. I think, not that they're non-existent, of course, but if you're running a game like in the suburbs, like Ring cameras and stuff exist, but there's not like a lot of 12 cameras inside the gas station. There's like 2.
Yeah, I've gotten into some really interesting logistics on Masquerade stuff in running just Chicago, because you do have the security theater between the south side and the rest of the city because of, redlining. And then also just the way the Chicago PD has set up their cameras for monitoring the city. It's actually one of the most like surveilled cities in the United States.
Yeah, it's on
crazy.
The same levels as like the UK.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Playing any vampire game in the UK, I'm just like, good fucking luck. Like, fuck. But if you actually look at at least the publicly available maps for the various cameras, and they also have recording equipment that will alert police for like gunfire.
Yeah, we had one of those come up in one of our episodes, or one of our personal games, I think.
Yeah, I brought that up.
Yeah, I think people set off fireworks to set those off.
Yeah, so
that's
it's like,
actually why they removed them from Indianapolis.
Too many guns and fireworks.
Well, fireworks are legal in Indiana, which means that the cops are constantly showing off to be like, oh, a kid shot off a firework. So they just turned off all the gun alerts systems for the most part.
Yeah, and I've lived in rougher parts of Indianapolis where I am aware of the fact that certain folks will set off a lot of fireworks around the time they're planning a gun-involved assault to kind of throw cops off, which is uncomfy, but like, I don't end up in those problems, so it's one of those like, I wish we weren't having to do this, but maybe if we had the infrastructure that didn't involve people having to resort to crime to survive, this wouldn't be a problem.
Bing, bing.
Yeah, because I mean, you could have cities set up where the vampires are realizing, oh, if we actually invest in social safety nets, there would be less crime and therefore less surveillance, and Masquerade would be easier for us to maintain.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but then you'd have to be like a moral vampire.
Well, no, it's not even moral. It's like literally a survival thing where you're like, look, I'm not saying we're gonna like fix all of society. We just need to like make sure that I have my claws in the city infrastructure to make sure I can control the budget.
All right.
So it's like it might be like, oh, that seems moral. And I'm like, not really. They're not being nice because they're like altruistic. They're doing because they're like, look,
it's easier to do this than the other.
It's easier for me to do my business if there's less fucking cops, and there's less fucking cops if I have X, Y, and Z things handled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not paying to house the homeless because I give a fuck. I'm doing it because if there's less homeless people on the streets, there's less likely to be problems. So therefore, I can do what the fuck I want to do.
Right.
Yeah. It's selfish to help your community.
It can be.
Yeah. I mean that.
Quite literally.
I mean that as a, what's a good way to put it? Encouraging. Go do it.
Go do it. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to house the homeless than let them be there. Anyways, I'm getting off my soapbox, everyone. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I guess that gets us to, do we have any final thoughts? We're about that time. I know, like I mentioned, I do think that this could have gone into, and I do want to cover more on the Inquisition, the Second Inquisition. Those both could be their own series. I would love to do an episode or two on ShrekNet. I think the Sabbat could be their own.
Yeah, I know we have a small list of things that we wanted to get further into that we've covered. Like, we did a 101. It's now time for a 201. But in terms of the Masquerade, it is literally in the title of the game. It's very fundamental to your gameplay. I find the way that different games and storytellers like to handle masquerades in various cities to be very interesting, and I enjoy engaging with that shit. But it's also something that really is going to set the tone for your story and your table, so just, talk about how you're handling it.
It's definitely also a core to setting up a city and giving that city its identity as how it handles the masquerade and what it considers the masquerade. Like, John and I played in a game that took place in Canada, and in that city, like, you couldn't kill people even if you were feeding. That was verboten. And, like, oh, you want a gun? Good luck. Whereas, like, we've played games that were taking place in the Chicago, Indianapolis region, and it was like, we had at least a body per episode, essentially, per game session.
Per game, but it's also, like, the crimes, just vaguely looking at, like, the crime solve rates and the murder rates in those areas. It's like, I kept a little tracker where it's like, okay, if the crime rate and the solve rate is X, that roughly translates to this many peoples before you're going to get noticed, so I just kept track of how many bodies you left. And then after you crossed so many people, I would bump up the rating for the Second Inquisition in the background. You guys got some interesting play. You guys were smart enough that it never quite got to the problem where I was like, I now have to start sending federal agents.
No, but
we disposed of most of the bodies.
Well, I also put points into having a special, like a guy in the Second Inquisition who was informing me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I would roll for him to lower your things in the background. I did a lot of rolling in the background I never told you guys about, just to be like, how bad are they fucking up?
Yeah, that's when I played Ellis, the guy who owned the country club, and he literally was like, as a country club owner, I need an FBI agent or just someone on the inside to, like, cover what we're doing, make sure they don't look into the country club. And then the dots rose, and he became we'll make sure the Second Inquisition covers up.
It's like, this is not worth the resources and time. But yeah, like, I've written a Thin Blood character who is a crime scene lab tech, and they're literally just put in there by the Camarilla to be like, we need you to change the data to make sure that we don't show up on court records and testify that, yep, that's what the data says, even though you changed it. Like, you could have whole sectors of your city where, like, that's what the Thin Bloods do that are allowed in the city, or, like, paralegals and county clerks and people that are stuck doing middle management jobs just to, like, maintain the masquerade because of the dumb fuck shenanigans being done by the other vampires in the city.
They're clearly set in their ways and old and religious if they haven't realized that Thin Bloods may be their most powerful tool against the Second Inquisition by being able to have someone who can just walk in the sun and say, I'm just going to put this case file way in the back, and we'll forget about that. And I'm going to keep shuffling these cases to the back, and we should look into this one instead. Mm-hmm. And then standing in the sun and be like, I can't be a vampire.
It's like, what? That's crazy. Like,
look at me.
Like, bro, that's crazy.
Shoot me. I died.
It's like, bro, I literally ran the test. Like, look at the chart. Look at the chart.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, I think you just need to drink water and go home.
Just take a deep breath, Greg.
Yeah. Take a deep breath, Greg.
You're 4 days from retirement. You don't got to pick up this case.
Oh no! Oh no! That's how Greg is the vampire versions of Boblin the Goblin, and they're just like, oh no, he's gonna die.
I know we've watched it a couple times as a joke, but we will have to cover the original Kindred TV show. Okay, what's the full title? Kindred the
Embraced.
The Embraced. Yeah. That's what it is. There is literally like a whole character who's basically whole position is he goes into the morgue and is like, we're just gonna hide these things.
We're just gonna not.
For my memory.
Bro, you could have a... Honestly, though, that would be a good corner of power in the market for the Hecata.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of, like, not only running funeral homes, but also running, like, the morgues and, like, the county coroner positions. And just being like, nah, we got this on lock. By the way, the Camarilla better pay us. Otherwise, some things might get out. And by things, we mean these zombies we have in coolers.
Or that could be even a cool, like, Banu Hakim character who's like, my idea of justice is solving these murders, and I'm gonna do it forensically.
Honestly, that would be pretty sick.
Or you could get a La Sombra, who's what's his name? Gets rid of the bodies in John Wick.
Oh shit, yeah.
Essentially, a La Sombra that does that just is like, and oblivion, and oblivion, and oblivion. Just
what if I take this body and put it somewhere else?
Yeah.
Or Zamitz, who's just like, and that doesn't look like it was attacked by a monster. It looks like they were stabbed by a knife. And
I like that.
Does flesh warping work on a dead corpse?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I assume it would on some level if like people you can graft an arm to yourself. You'd have to get that arm from somewhere unless you're immediately removing it and plugging it in as quick as possible.
I mean, a lot of the time that's kind of how it works, but
it could be if it is something they could do, it might end up being something that's expensive, which would make them a very valuable asset and therefore something you could strong arm as a character to be like, well, I mean, I do very specialized and technical work, so I think I'm entitled to more of a domain. You know?
Yeah, there's a news that meets power ad, corpse grinder, and your abilities apply to corpses instead of living.
I mean, that could also just be like a whole sector of the Tremere, even in your city, where it's just like, well, it's basically crime scene investigation cleanup.
Yeah, just using magic to cover up crimes.
Yeah, because it's like, well, not only have we obliterated the DNA, we've obliterated it on, like, a cosmic level. So, like, nothing happened.
You know, I like the idea of putting together a coterie that's just cleanup crew with all these guys.
It's like a Tremere, a Zamitz, and
it's literally
like a Banu Hakim who's just like, we're going to solve the crime and then cover it up.
Yep.
And then we will take care of the person who committed the crime.
Right.
It's Vampire Power Wash Simulator.
Yes.
I'd play the fuck out of that. That would be so good. I also just like street level stories. I'm like, yeah, I know I could go fight God, but I got like a 4 o'clock that I gotta go like take care of, and you know, I may have found something that allows me to blackmail one of the Primogen now. Plots.
Yay.
Plots.
I do
Plots
like that.
scheming.
I really like that. Someone run that game for us.
Please.
Yeah.
I don't have the spoons right now to be running a game. Somebody help me.
But yeah, I think that's a good summation of the Masquerade.
The Masquerade. It's important. Please do not snitch on yourself or your homies.
Yeah.
If you see somebody shoplifting, no, the fuck you didn't.
Exactly.
Exactly.
No. So thanks, Paralyze, for the music. The music is good.
Yeah. It is good.
And go check out World I Hate. It's Hal's new band. He does vocals. The lyrics it's hardcore, but the lyrics are very intellectual.
Intellectualant.
They big brain words?
Yeah, he's a smart boy.
He get that brain.
Yeah.
He put that brain to use.
But yeah, go check out World I Hate. You can also go check out us. We're on Twitter at _bodies, Instagram at blankbodiespod. Same. We're at TikTok at blankbodiespodcast. We're at Tumblr at blankbodiespod. And we have a Patreon. Like I said at the beginning, like special thanks to everyone who has helped us so far. It's gotten our show upgraded a lot. We have all new equipment now. Basically at this point, we've been able to like soundproof the room. We're looking into some more things, but like the support is super appreciated and it really helped us a lot. We have Gen Con coming up, which I mean, that supported us super getting into that. That's going to be really cool. So I just want to take a second and thank everyone who's supported us so far because it has really made a big difference for us and our show. And we want to keep growing with you guys.
We might actually be somewhat professional now, looking at the pile of merch that we're putting together for Gen Con.
Yeah, we will have some surprise stuff for people who show up to Gen Con.
Hell yeah.
And we may figure out how to get it past there from there. But
Ooh.
one step at a time. And if you're interested in joining and giving us that support, we have a $5, you get a Discord title, and you get some into the Discord chat just for patrons, where I tend to ask questions when I'm writing scripts that I'm like, what do you guys want to hear about? I did research too much. What part does this sound good about? Those kind of last minute questions when I'm paring things down.
Also trying to share more sources for things in the Patreon chat.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cool. There's people who've like offered to run games just for patrons in there. Really cool. $10 you can vote on polls. We're working on getting all of our scripts and show notes put up onto the Patreon. That's going to be available. There's a $25 title where you get all the previous, plus you get a character sketch, black and white from Sarah. If you do it for a full year, you get a color sketch as well. We also have a $100 blood tier and a $1,000 corn tier.
Corn tub.
Corn tub.
Yeah, it's corn tub, not just the corn tier.
Though I guess if somebody wants to give us $1,000 to buy specifically corn, we can buy $1,000 worth of corn.
We could donate that to like
a food bank.
Yeah, or animal shelter or something.
Yeah.
Animals eat corn, right?
Yeah.
Some do.
People do. People are a type of animal.
True.
Chickens
I
like
eat corn.
Jimmy cracked corn.
I don't care. And if you're on the Patreon end of the voting tier, I'm going to be doing a poll soon for the Nosferatu bonus episode. I've been trying to decide what to cover. And I think the poll coming up Monday is going to be, would you rather hear me talk about Hunchback of Notre Dame, Nosferatu, or Phantom of the Opera, and how it vibes with the Nosferatu? So that I cannot hardly wait to see the fights that spring up between the fans of those three.
Fight!
Masquerade!
Fight!
Purple faces on parade! Masquerade!
So thanks again for everyone who has supported us. I also do an interview series. If you haven't checked it out, last week I did a really cool interview with one of the writers of the new Mind's Eye Theater for V5 book.
The By Night Studios folks are chill as fuck. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Hooray.
But if you'd like to join us on there, you can hit us up at blankbodies@gmail.com. I would love to hear about the game you're working on, or your stream, or your vampire erotica novels, or whatever tickles your fancy that you're working on. If you're making a horror movie, if you're in a cool goth band, I don't care. I'll chat with
Cosplay,
you.
LARP.
If you're a real vampire, hit us up.
We're working on it. We're not starting a cult. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So I guess my thanks for getting us to 50 fucking episodes.
Oh my god.
50 fucking episodes!
Ayo, woot woot.
That's pretty freaking cool, guys.
We're doing a thing, and people like it. I assume people like it.
I think so. I don't think.
Hell yeah.
I haven't gotten any death threats yet, so...
Shockingly, we haven't yet, considering the shenanigans of things we have said.
Yeah.
Fuck Christopher Columbus.
He fucked a manatee.
He did.
All right, bye.
Probably some goats.
And children.
That's not
fun.
That's the note we're ending on, Sarah.
Yes.
50 episodes. Christopher Columbus was a pedophile. Thanks.
Yeah.
Have a good evening.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Mwah. What is wrong with us?
It is Indigenous Heritage Month, as well as Pride. Fuck Christopher Columbus.